Hi there. Welcome. This is Deborah Leanne, and it's time again for a little bit of a slice of what it means to be an authentic leader. Today's day and age is filled with complexity, yet our minds are yearning for simple answers, simple ways of fixing things quickly and having all the answers at our fingertips so that we can appear like we really know what's going on. And yet, the more we strive to know what's going on, to read more, study more, attend more classes, and believe me, I'm in 2 classes right now, we are pushing away our opportunity of developing our intuition and deepening into our conscious practice of what it means to be a leader. Because today we are not coming from a place where the simple egoic mind can solve the problems. In fact, we're at a place where we need to be curious and learn from one another and bring our gifts forward and co-create where we want to go. So today I wanted to broach the wide topic of the art of ease. Ease, or relaxing, or even being playful, are states of being that have fallen out of favor in our striving and workaholism and super busy schedules and double, triple booking our days and getting up at 4:30 in the morning and getting our meditation and our yoga class in before going to work. And then, double, triple timing our time with our families in the evening and scheduling nights out with our girlfriends because they're so far and few that we get to do that. These are our norm. And yet it's pulling us away from our most true and authentic selves and for an opportunity to really be more of ourselves, because that takes sitting down and doing nothing. And I know that for someone who, like me, has been literally addicted to having a full calendar and saying yes to everything I was asked to do and finding time, scheduling a coffee meeting, even if it's online with somebody who lives 20 minutes away. I mean, this is nuts, isn't it? That we don't take the time to stop and smell the roses, is an old saying that's very pertinent right now. Right now, we don't really have roses out, but we do have, in my yard anyway, hyacinths and daffodils and soon to be tulips. So during this time of spring, I thought I would come out of my hibernation. I've spent quite a bit of time in the last 3 to 6 months going in, staying in, diving in, deepening in as to who I am and what are my gifts and what am I here to do. And I had the beautiful synchronicity of 2 or 3 new clients coming my way that were in response to me having a presence online. I didn't have to do anything to find those clients. They found me. I had an opportunity to speak in front of 250 plus women last year at a large event where I got to be me and donate my time and speaking services to a beautiful worldwide organization, American Red Cross. So where I'm coming from is not your typical, you have to do more, be out there more, be more visible online. I had done that. I had taken plenty of action for 5 or 6 years prior. So it wasn't like I didn't take the steps to be seen. I had gone through certification in a specific 360 leadership tool. The Leadership Circle is the one that I use. And that was another searchable key item that help these clients find me. And where I'm coming from around this art of ease is learning how to build in open space. And that even allow me to breathe and stop and slow down, because slowing down feels so uncomfortable. And the other piece around the slowing down is by doing so, we can hear ourselves more. We can be in the present moment, which taps us into our divine inspiration, our connection to all that is and all that we are. When we're moving so quickly, thank you, dear clock, to what is next, what's coming up next, or running from what happened just now, or what happened last year, or what happened when we were 16. Believe me, I know this. We spend so much time running from ourselves or running to where we want to go that we're not taking this beautiful moment of now to be. This happens to be one of my shadows. I'm working with another metaphysical, spiritual tool called the Gene Keys. And as I play with it more and more, I'm learning that this is my life work around moving from a place of self-obsession. And by that, I mean studying about how do I understand myself and my purpose and what I'm here to do, into a place of naturalness, of being with what is. When you're out in nature, nature is the best teacher. She just is. The oak tree is. The daffodil is. The daffodil doesn't say, oh, I wish I were a hyacinth, or I wonder what I'm going to be after this beautiful blooming opportunity I'm in right now. What's next? What's next? No, it just shines its sunny face for us all to enjoy. And when we come from a place of beingness and naturalness, we can't even think about it too much, because then we mess up the moment. So this art of ease allows us to just sit and breathe and don't do anything else. And even watching your breath is doing something. So I'm really playing with, how can I just be with whatever it is, whether it's petting my cat, or just now I was in the process of putting together the roast chicken to put in the oven for dinner tonight. I mean, everything I'm doing, I want to be fully present in that moment. And when I had a conversation with my bookkeeper earlier, she was like, I have to rush to get these numbers. I said, no, please don't rush. Let's move our appointment to tomorrow or the next day so that you can be fully there and do the work and do it right the first time and not feel that rushed feeling. Wow. I notice when I even talk about being in a rush mode, how I shorten my breath or stop breathing altogether. I'm curious, as this goes out to each of you, if you will share with me if it's important for me to do grounding and centering exercises at the beginning of each of our time together during my new podcasts. And if it is, I'm happy to do that. I do them regularly. Like before I even turned the record button on, I made sure I felt into my feet, and I shortened my tether to the wall so I could walk and feel my body as I'm recording this. And I put some spearmint oil, essential oil, on the roof of my mouth so I can feel the cool air as I speak, because each of those things brings me delight and it brings me into the moment. So, to get back to the art of ease, it's the art of not forcing. It's the art of allowing things to happen. It's the art of receiving the moment receiving support from others. It's the art of speaking up about what it is we want, so that whether we write it out in the morning in our journal, this is what we want to accomplish today, or send emails out to ask people clearly what we need from them to move on in our role, whatever it is, but to allow things then to happen. And this is hard for someone who has, I'm speaking for myself here, who has dealt with a lot of perfectionism, because I want things done and I want them done right and I want them done when I want them done, versus asking, when is it possible for this person to be complete with this? So I'm learning a lot about how to let others be them and for me to be me, and then how do we come together to be us and we. And this co-creative space, it's pretty imperative, or I find it works better when I am in my own self, in my own sovereign self, coming from my own space of power and owning who I am. And the more aware I become of my creative competencies, my gifts, my skill sets to share with the world, including the areas where I get in my own way, I'm calling those my reactive tendencies. The third level of that is my soma, my somatic wisdom. What is my body teaching me in this moment? Which is why I use a lot of sensual tools, whether it be moving my body, whether it's the breath, whether it's the essential oils, whether it's putting a little bit of a taste of an essential oil in my water, or smelling and inhaling them, or applying them to my wrists so that I can smell them, or the roof of my mouth so I can taste them. Whether it's noticing the beauty of, I'm bringing the fresh flowers, cutting one, every couple days and bringing one in the house to enjoy the beauty inside. Whether it's staring outside and feeling the sun shining on me. Each of those ways of tapping into the feeling of myself in this body allows myself to ground. And grounding is essential for us to be our best selves. We are not just spiritual and intellectual beings, even emotional beings, but we have this physical body that so often gets left behind, left in the lurch, disregarded, not regarded well if it is regarded. And how can I love myself more? By surrounding myself with the beauty and the sensual reminders of how wonderful it is to be alive. And how does that all translate into being a conscious leader? It's a big part of it. Because without presence, we can't show up. Being fully present allows us to tap into our purpose and our passions and our pleasure. And those each in turn combine for us to be in our most, coming from our strengths, showing up with our truth, speaking our truth, expressing ourselves in our fullness. Whereas when we are not in a present state, we're a little bit out of integrity. I'm going to just go so far to say that we are out of integrity because we are not operating from our wholeness and our holy selves. So the last thing I wanted to cover in terms of this is there's this whole art of enjoying doing nothing. That Wu Wei, it's called. It's a Chinese or an Eastern philosophy. I guess I've seen it in several different languages. And It's having to do with finding a way to enjoy doing nothing. And, coming from my scheduled self, I like to actually put it on the calendar that this is open space. Because what I find is if I allow everybody else to have access to my calendar and book my time, I have less of that open space available. The other thing I've done is I've rearranged my office space. So I'm looking out the front window, and when I do that, I get to see my gardens and the big, huge grandma oak tree that's in front of me. I mean, she has to be 120 years old. She's stunning. And that really brings me joy, because being able to look outside on a sunny day especially and appreciate nature in all her bounty reminds me that I'm tapped into all of that as well. So I'm curious if you have any thoughts or comments or suggestions. I have a whole list of things that I want to roll out in the coming weeks, and I'm happy to respond to specific questions. So as you hear this and there's something that comes up, feel free to shoot me an email. The best way to reach me is Deborah@DeborahLeanne.com, or respond in a comment to wherever you find this recording, because I know it's going to be sent out to a number of different channels. So with that, I'm going to close with a challenge. I'd love to hear if any of you have played with this idea or concept of the art of doing nothing, the Wu Wei. The other one that I'm playing with it's called Strength of No Action. And it's allowing myself to be so fully present about who I am and where I'm going, and just taking little action steps every day towards that, but allowing others, the seen and unseen forces of the universe, to support me. And then just watching what happens, watching the magic and the miracles fall in to support me in where I'm going. And I'm watching this right now with a dear friend who, I'm not kidding you, in the course of a few weeks, just looking at how so many things that she's been calling in her life, and she finally has learned some of the feminine energy qualities or the grace of allowing, and now it's all happening. And it's so beautiful to behold. And I wish that for you too. So let me know if there's a place where you built in a 15 minutes to just go sit out in the sunshine, or even 5 minutes, putting your feet on the grass. It's getting warm enough to do that now, and allowing ourselves to really take full advantage of the fresh, clean spring air and the beautiful sunlight is a way for us to rejuvenate, reconnect, remember who we are. And I know that you're a powerful change agent. I look forward to speaking with you more in the coming weeks. Take excellent care. This is Deborah Leanne.